Welcome to our parts of the instrument video. First thing is that instruments are kind of like French fries. They come in 4 sizes: small, medium, large, and super size. And although they come in those different sizes, all of the parts work identically the same. Okay? Stringed instruments, violins, violas, cellos, and basses are typically made from spruce and maple. All of the brown pieces of wood are spruce and maple. The harder parts of the instrument, the pegs, the fingerboard, the tailpiece, the chin rest on violins and violas, are sometimes made out of a really dark wood called ebony. It's black in color and super dense and hard. The other option, sometimes like mine, is made actually out of rosewood, which is also a super dense and strong material to use for all of the parts of your instrument where your fingers are touching all the time. Okay, so regardless of whether you play the violin, the small, or the bass, the supersized version, all of these pieces and parts are going to be pretty much the same. So we're going to start at the top. The instruments like this have been made this way and look this way for hundreds and hundreds of years. So there's such a rich history of string playing in the world. So it's really cool to be a part of something that's been around for so long in the same form. All right, so we're going to start at the top. Up here, you have the scroll. Kind of looks like a rolled up piece of paper. Okay, that scroll is purely decorative. You could chop it off right there if you wanted to, and it wouldn't change the sound of the instrument at all. But this is one of the parts that's usually hand carved on your instrument, which is kind of cool. Strings have 4 strings, and so therefore there are 4 pegs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these pegs are used to make big adjustments to the tension of the string. And the tension of the string changes the pitch of each string. And so you do not want to touch these if you're a beginner. You want to leave those alone, okay? So don't touch those. But the pegs go into this hollow spot right here. This is called the peg box. That's the peg box. That's where the pegs stick into, okay? Attached to the peg box is the neck of the instrument. This is where you are going to do lift it out of the case. You're going to use the neck of the instrument. If you're going to carry your instrument, you're going to use the neck of the instrument, specifically on cello and bass especially. The neck of the instrument, attached to that is this black piece of wood here. This is called the fingerboard. Obviously, that's the board where your fingers go, okay? In between the fingerboard and the peg box is this little raised area where the strings have a point of contact right here, and that little raised bump is called the nut. Okay, the strings have 3 points of contact on your instrument, and that is one of them. Touches here, then these are the 4 strings. The other point of contact is this piece of wood right here. This is called the bridge. This bridge is actually not glued down. The tension of the strings hold the bridge to the top of the instrument. So if you ever take your strings all off, your bridge will definitely come off, which is not a good situation. Okay, so that is the bridge. The other point of contact is down here. This black piece sometimes is plastic, but is sometimes wood as well. And this is called the tailpiece. All right, the tailpiece is connected to the end button with this cord right here. And that end button, this is a circle that's right on the bottom side of your instrument. This end button holds the tailpiece in place. On the tailpiece are some fine tuners, these 4 screws right here. That is used to make smaller adjustments to the pitch of each string. And our beginners will learn how to use those pretty quick here. If you look at the top of your instrument, there are these 2 holes that look like very fancy Fs. These are called F holes. There are 2 of them. And those F holes are actually really important to the acoustics of the instrument because that's where the sound comes out. So if you think of sound as vibration, right? All sound is vibration. If you're talking, the thing that's doing the vibrating is your vocal cords. On a brass instrument, your lips are doing the vibrating. On a woodwind instrument, the reed is doing the vibrating. On a percussion instrument, the drum head is doing the vibrating. On a stringed instrument, the strings do the vibrating. Okay? And when you have the string vibrate, you can see it woggle back and forth. Okay? And that vibration happens, right? And it gets passed down to the bridge. The vibration travels through the bridge to the top of the instrument, into that empty cavern that's inside and then it comes back out of those F-holes. So those F-holes are really important. If you look inside of the F-holes, I don't think I can get a picture of this. Oh, maybe. Kind of see it. If you look inside the F-hole on one of the sides, you should see a label. That label has important information that musicians need to know, like when your instrument was born. Sometimes it will have a date in there. This one says 2012. It will also have important serial numbers. That's really important to know sometimes if you're buying or selling an instrument. Also, it has the brand or who made the instrument, usually on that same label, and then the size of your instrument. Okay? All instruments come in different sizes for different sized people, and you should know what size instrument you play. All right, so all of that is in that label. That's really important. If you check out in there, you can also see this little, it's a stick, and it's called a sound post, and that sound post connects the top to the back, and it keeps those two pieces of wood vibrating at the same time. And that sound post is really important. Now, if you ever have a big oops with your instrument, you knock it over or you drop it or you bang it really hard onto something, sometimes when you pick your instrument up, you'll hear this noise and it sounds like a pencil is rolling around on the inside of your instrument. That's your sound post. Okay, that is not a good situation. So if that ever happens to you, you need to stop what you're doing and tell your teacher right away, and we'll give you the next steps from there. Okay. Violins and violas have this piece here. This is called a chin rest. I wish they would call it a jaw rest though, because your chin does not go on there. That's really bad posture. It actually connects right here to your jaw. Cellos and basses do not have their instrument up on their shoulder, so they do not have a shoulder rest at all, or a chin rest at all. And in fact, they don't have an end button either. In that place, they have what's called an end pin. And that end pin allows the instrument to be adjusted on their body this way. Okay. Other parts of the instrument, this is the upper bout here. This is the lower bout here. Okay. This face is the top, and this is the back side. These side pieces are called ribs. And then if you look very closely right here, I'm not sure you can see that very well, but right there, those little black lines, that's actually not pen or marker. It's actually inlaid ebony, and that is called purfling. And that keeps, if you ever happen to knock your instrument against something and it forms a little crack, that purfling will keep that crack from running all the way up your instrument. So it is beautiful, but also functional. So those are the parts of your instrument. Welcome to orchestra.